you say he just a friend, and you say he just...
So I get a lot of questions asked on a daily basis, like, what's your opinion on this? Should I see this? TV shows, movies, even comic books. I do a lot of comic books. I read a lot of regular books. I play a lot of video games. So I really just like to immerse myself in this creative aspect in the world, in the media and everything like that. And people often ask me about that because I make it very known that I'm into that kind of stuff. So I've decided to just ask. I put out on Twitter to ask for a few questions. I got 25, I think. I cut it down to 21. And I'm just going to answer all of them as best as I can, or at least as best as I feel I can. And so, here we go. Who is the best Batman villain? Now, I'm not just going to limit this to the movies. I'm talking about every Batman villain. And the obvious answer is going to be the Joker. Because he's honestly one of the best villains for anything ever, comic book oriented or otherwise. He's just amazing, the perfect foil to Batman. But my answer is going to be, that's too easy, so I'm going to pick the Riddler. The Riddler is ingenious, and although he's not a physical match for Batman, he's just so smart. It's just awesome, and yeah. What is the best TV show ever? This is an easy question for me, because I did a video, if you saw it, on the best TV comedies, and Arrested Development was my favorite, but my favorite is not a comedy. It is, I have it back here actually, the god of TV, Lost. Oh my god, Lost. You does not get better than Lost. The characters, the plots, the writing, the acting, everything about it was flawless. And a lot of people got bored with it or thought it got too weird. You're wrong. Why are movies 2 hours long? Well, they're not all 2 hours long. They can be anywhere. A movie is generally considered to be anywhere between an hour and a half and 3 hours. That's pretty much the time frame you're going to see. Most are going to fall around 2 hours. And I guess, I don't know if he's saying that's too long or that's too short, but if it's much longer than that, people are going to lose interest. If it's much shorter, you're not going to be really interested in the first place. Otherwise, it'll just be like a quick thing, maybe a short film, and while those can be good, it's not the same as a movie. Like, 2 hours is really a great amount of time to tell a complete story. What is the shortest movie? Now, I don't know this off the top of my head, and that really depends on what you consider to be a movie, because generally, anything that's less than an hour and a half is going to be considered a short film, and then that's a completely different thing. Short films can be like a minute long, and it's the same thing. But if you're talking about a feature-length movie, something you're going to see in the theaters, I think the shortest I've ever seen was an hour and 20 minutes, maybe. That was probably it. How Gucci is the average TV show compared to the average movie? 3 Guccis to 4 Guccis. What are your thoughts on Batman vs. Superman, aka Man of Steel 2? If you saw my review, you know I wasn't a fan of Man of Steel. I'm not a fan of Superman at all. He's a very, very boring character. I do not like him. But Batman is awesome. He's my favorite character, like on the opposite side. And it's just, Ben Affleck, I was kind of mad about it at first, but he could be good. He could go either way. I don't like the fact that they're going to have Wonder Woman in there, because I also don't like her. She's literally a god, so that's dumb. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor could be good. Could be a good choice. Like, he's obviously not a villain, but like if he's orchestrating something, it could be very cool. And I don't know. I'm not excited for it. Let's put it that way. What is the most underrated movie of all time? Now, this is a very hard question, because underrated, the way I took this was movies that aren't necessarily not well known, but are kind of just overlooked. They're not exactly thought of as amazing, and I have 2 answers, because I couldn't really decide. One sec, I'm gonna find them. My 2 most underrated movies of all time are Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, riotous, directed and edited absolutely flawlessly. Edgar Wright is a genius. This is Michael Cera at the peak of being Michael Cera, and it does not get any better than this. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. And Watchmen, which, as I'm a big superhero fan, if you haven't noticed, and Watchmen is really, really unique. It's nothing like other superhero movies. It's like almost 3 hours long, but it's absolutely awesome. And it just tells a completely It's not interested in franchising. It just wants to tell one story about what would the world actually be like with superheroes. Who watches The Watchmen? Awesome. What do you think about movie 43? Best SpongeBob episode. That, I've given this a lot of thought. I've had many conversations with a few of my friends, and my verdict is chocolate with nuts, when they try to sell the chocolates, and most people only remember like the chocolates, or it's like, I remember when they were selling chocolates. But if you watch that episode, every minute there's something absolutely hilarious. It's gut busting, and definitely the best episode. What is usually considered a bad movie that you think is good? The Saw series. Now, more or less everyone likes the first one, but usually what you'll hear is they got worse as time went on. And it's like, yeah, they did drop a little bit, but I loved them all. I really did like the Saw movies. I thought they had a lot more going on than people gave it credit for. Favorite director? Christopher Nolan, director of the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, The Prestige, Memento, and another really not well-known movie called Following. He's awesome. Interstellar comes out this year, and I could not be more pumped. Best horror movie. Now, this is hard to answer because I have a favorite horror movie and I have a scariest horror movie. So when most people ask what's the best horror movie, they're looking for the scariest. If I were to say the scariest movie, it is the original Halloween from 1978, directed by John Carpenter. That movie is chilling, and it still holds up to today. If you watch it in the dark, you'll be freaked out. There are a couple scenes. There only been like 3 movies that have actually scared me in my life, and this is one of them. But my favorite horror movie is Scream. Absolutely love Scream. It's got this great twist of being self-aware, and it's funny and it's thrilling. Ghostface is a great villain, and it's got the best opening scene of all time. If you saw my best opening scenes video, I just ruined the ending. What is the best Pixar movie? Toy Story 3. And the best Disney movie? Lilo and Stitch. Neither, which I'm assuming means best animated movie. That is neither of those, and that is a toss-up between Grave of the Fireflies, which is absolutely horribly depressing. It's about like Japanese children during the bombings during World War II. It's awful. And Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is hilarious and awesome, and I love Wes Anderson. Comic book movie that needs to be made. The Runaways. No one really knows what it is, and I just started reading it, and it is amazing. It's pretty much about these 6 kids who realize that their parents are a team of supervillains, and that they have their own kind of powers. Like, one's a mutant, one's an alien, one has these power gloves, one has a dinosaur that it's telepathically linked to, and it's absolutely awesome. I've actually heard that if Guardians of the Galaxy does well, they'll consider making this, which could not be more pumped for. The Runaways is amazing. Most disappointing movie. I get in a lot of trouble when I say this, and people usually discredit me when I say this. The Godfather? Do you watch any reality TV shows? I used to watch Survivor. I just kind of got bored with it. It wasn't like it was bad or anything. I just kind of stopped watching, and I watched over the summer Whodunit, which I'm hoping gets renewed, because that was awesome. It was kind of this really cool, really unique reality show when they pretty much have to solve a murder every week, and it was just I really like that one. I hope it gets renewed for a second season. But other than that, I don't really like reality TV. I think it's kind of a waste of my time when I could be watching like plot-driven TV shows. What TV shows are you currently watching? Like on TV right now, or at least that are still being made. Community, Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Suits, Bates Motel, American Horror Story, SNL, I guess. Practical Jokers is great. Game of Thrones, The Newsroom. Did I say Brooklyn Nine-Nine? How I Met Your Mother, Psych. That's probably more or less it. That are like, they're not necessarily all currently producing new episodes, but they're still on, haven't been canceled or anything. And then the last question I saved, the absolute best question for last. Are you gay? Only on Mondays. Alright, thank you for watching. I really love answering your questions. They really help you to get to know me, I guess. And if you already know me, sorry. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.